Seeing lots of questions from Kenyans on this discussion, and of course CJ Maraga's advisory to the President. Parliament has not played its role, dissolve Parliament, and that causing a lot of talk from yesterday up until today. And that's why I have with me Honorable Boss, Honorable Shamala, to just get their thoughts on this. And right now we want to hear what Kenyans have to say. Let's take a look at some of the tweets and SMSs that we are receiving tonight. First one here from Emmanuel Uluma says, what if Uhuru dissolves the Parliament? The next election, will it be a by-election or a general election? Okay, I think Honorable Boss spoke to that. Will we also okay, we've skipped to the next one. All right, let's go on. There really are so many. Mercy Kim Chong says, why should the President not dissolve the Parliament? We are ready to vote for our fellow women. All right. Remember, the hashtag is NEWSNIGHT. This is what else you're saying. John Wango says, why would MPs complain about Maraga's advisory? They deliberately defeated motion on gender bill by denying it quorum. Henceforth, they should think of solving the stalemate amicably without scapegoating. Okay. And I hope my two guests can hear these feedback, because I can give them a chance to respond to any that they should choose to. Aleki Macho says, we're in a democratic country where each constituency votes for their MPs. Achieving this 1/3 as MPs is impossible. I'm sure if women rep was open to men to vie for, we'll have more men women rep than women rep. Okay, I'm not sure that's a fair thought. All right, let's go to our SMSs now. This is what you're saying on 22422. Jomo Gigi from Mokoroeni never misses the show. Thank you, Jomo. Parliamentarians are apprehensive of a dissolution of Parliament. They lost a golden opportunity to enact the 2/3 gender rule. Okay, that's one SMS. Let's take a look at another. This one is from John. No second name that we are being told. Why should women be forced to take position through the so-called 2/3 gender rule if they can't actually get them in an election? Okay. And one more. I'm hoping we get a women's, lady's voice on. Okay, no. Paul Alela. The law is clear, but it's also not very clear. This is why the current conversation on the meaning of shall can never be resolved. And also a message here from Jubilee Vice Chair David Morathe. He says Parliament will not be dissolved. There is a hidden agenda behind the calls for dissolution. The Supreme Court has previously ruled that the 2/3 gender rule can be implemented gradually. Okay, those are some thoughts. Legislators, let me start with Honorable Boss on this one. I can give you a chance to respond to any of those messages, questions from Kenyans on the state of the nation tonight.
I think what is important for me to respond to and to clarify that the reason why I feel very passionately about right to equality and people to have opportunities is that even I, as a woman representative, I am a beneficiary. Beneficiary, that's right. Of affirmative action. So are all women representative, and so is Honorable Shamala. And I feel strongly about it. I also feel that personally, throughout my life, I have been privileged to have had the opportunity to grow up in a home where my parents, especially my father, told me I could be anyone I wanted to be. I didn't suffer with bias, hence the reason why I could be where I am today. And therefore I understand and I know that there are many women out there who are probably even more competent than me, but haven't had an opportunity to grow up in the kind of homestead or society that I grew up in. Okay. In order to get, I don't take these opportunities for granted. I want to make it my life mission to ensure that any girl out there will be able to come to be able to hold the kind of positions I've held. When I joined the women rep race, even in Wasingishu, it was tough for me because I hadn't been in politics before, but I said to myself, this is something I want to champion, the right to equality. In the culture where I come from, a woman can never be given a leadership position. You know, the Kalenjin say, if you've seen when they are giving leadership to all the men, they dress you up in something called the sambut. So there is no time that ever in this world that I could ever be given the sambut, because culturally, women were not supposed to be leaders. Okay. So by the time you surmount that cultural bias and to get women to reach the examples of the women that Honorable Shamala has given us from India and all those countries, you can't call them equal, because by the time Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister of in the UK, there wasn't even a single woman member of Parliament in Kenya or cabinet minister at that time. The people in the UK have grown up seeing a queen being the leader of the monarchy.
Okay.
It's commonplace for them.
Honorable Boss,
they have opportunities that their girls never stay at home because they are not able, they are being made to either put through terrible cultural practices or don't have even basics to allow them to go to school in a dignified manner. So this is not apple, we are not comparing apple for apple. So in Kenya, we must forget about trying to compare us with people in other countries.
Okay.
If a woman can still give birth on the roadside in Pumwani Hospital in the year 2020, don't compare us with a country where those women are guaranteed of staying in the same hospital as anybody from any level of life. Because let's give Canada for example. Women, I mean, the hospitals are all public hospitals, and everyone can go to those hospitals.
Before you give the next example, I do want us to wrap this up and figure out the way forward, but I want to allow Honorable Shamala to respond to some of the messages that I've just read and what you've said as well. Honorable Shamala, go ahead.
I want to state, and actually Honorable Boss Shirley has just supported what I was saying, that she has, and I know I've had the opportunity of meeting her parents, her wonderful father, grown up in a home where she was made to believe that she can be anything and everything she wants to be. And it is at that societal level where we teach everyone that, you know, a woman can be a leader, a man can be a leader. Having said that, I think it's extremely important that when we talk about the 2/3 gender rule, that it must apply across all institutions of government in this country, including the Supreme Court itself. And I heard a comment from one of the ladies, and she said that, yes, let them dissolve Parliament and we will vote for women. I also heard a comment from somebody saying, and it was actually quite a serious comment, and I listened very, very carefully, that if men could stand for the woman rep position, if they could stand on this affirmative action position, that they would vote in those men. That was a text message that was read out by you, Mwara. And those are the issues that are that are very concerning. That why is it that you feel that no matter what the qualifications of a woman, you will still vote for a man? And again, that's why, and it's so extremely important, that we do have affirmative action legislation in place, and it must be enacted, and why we have affirmative action policies in place that must be enacted.
My final question to both of you tonight is, how do we move forward? Whether the president dissolves Parliament, whether he doesn't, it still won't have solved the challenge of the 2/3 gender principle in public bodies in this country, whether you are elected or appointed. And I'm going to ask you to keep it to about a minute or so. Let's start with you, Honorable Boss. How do we move forward? How do we ensure that the spirit and letter of the Constitution is achieved in what many had hoped would have been a reality by now? 2/3 gender principle.
Yes, I think if you followed what I've been saying in the media, even the times when the first Duale bill failed and the second Duale bill failed, I kept saying that there is lack of political goodwill to apply the 2/3 gender principle across the board from right at the top. Okay. The buck stops with the head of state. He has a majority in Parliament. All he has to do is call his party and say, page 30 of the Jubilee Manifesto says that the Jubilee will implement the 2/3 gender rule. So he can mobilize his party members as the party leader. So it stopped at that time, the buck stopped at his chair, at his door, and now it is at his door again. Okay. Hopefully this time he will realize that it is that serious.
Okay, some would think tonight that you're speaking as a member of a different party, but you are within that same Jubilee party as well. And for you, Honorable Shamala, Honorable Boss says the buck stops.
Unfortunately, I'm not the party leader, though.
Okay, fair point. Honorable Shamala, the buck stops with the president. That's what Honorable Boss affirms tonight. What do you make of the way forward?
Yeah, the way forward, it doesn't only, yes, it does stop with the buck does stop with the president, but the way forward is various scenarios. We can decide to enact legislation immediately next week that will we can go that route, but I always get concerned about reactions that may be too fast. We can decide to first exhaust the processes that are before the courts, and these are decisions that Parliament will make in due course during the course of this week and early next week.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think we're going to leave it at that. Whichever way this moves forward, Kenya.
Thank you.
And by the way, Wahiga, Jennifer and I are very good friends. I think it's good for you to know that. And we've worked very well together over the years, and I have a lot of respect for her.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you for making that clear. I hadn't asked the question, but thank you for making that clear. and I was going to say, Kenyans will be watching you legislators moving forward, whichever way things go. And they'll be measuring your words, measuring your intentions. And so a lot of pressure on you at this time, even as we reflect on what the Chief Justice did yesterday, handing that advisory to the President to take it forward. And that's how we wrap up Newsnight tonight. I don't know if we have any more feedback. If, okay, we do. Let's read one or two more, and then we wrap this up. I know we need to let some of you go to bed. Okay, this is what, one or two more thoughts, tweets or SMSs? Oh, we're done? Okay, I'm told we don't have any more. I see some here, but let's wrap this up. On behalf of the whole team that makes this broadcast possible, and of course, my sign language interpreter, Yulanzale, Monica up in the gallery with the big team and the cameraman here, thank you for watching. It's because of you that we're able to do this. Have a good night. And of course, once again, let me thank my panelists who've really helped put this into perspective. Good night. Stay safe. My name is Wahiga Mwaura. We'll see you soon.